Good morning, Will. How are you on this fine, beautiful day?
I'm good.
Good.
And in a non-related coincidence, it's my birthday as well. So
I was going to say you look a little
um,
older today. Just a little
I
bit, though.
am, and I just got a haircut. I know. It's a funny story quickly about my haircut. I didn't get the guard right. And since we're kind of locked down, I'm kind of doing it myself. So I went a little shorter than anticipated. So that was a birthday surprise there. But
Well, for your birthday, Will, I'm going to just go ahead and tell you now, since we're on air. I wanted to surprise you with it, but I got you a Flowbee. Do you remember Flowbees?
I do.
Okay.
I have had one Floby haircut in my life.
Well, I had my wife call your wife just to kind of, do a little research preemptively, and she suggested that we get the one that attaches to the shop vac, given the way your hair lays. Is that anything?
That is probably a necessity at this point.
I'm totally teasing. I'm making all this up, but a Flubby
Yeah,
would be cool. So, maybe now I have to get you one. We'll see.
that'd be cool. Let's do it. I mean, even though my hair is supposed to start falling out at this point, so we'll
Yeah,
see.
we'll see.
But
Well, it's all downhill from here now that you're in your 40s, but life is good. All right, well, so jumping into our time together today, just as a way of reminder, Text Gen Together is not just going to be the two of us talking. We're going to start inviting
yeah,
people into it. The last couple of weeks, we've opted just to build some time together, work out some technical challenges, and kind of get to know, kind of walk through our process. But I wanted to share with you some exciting news about a series that we're putting together. I've got really two of them to talk with you about.
okay.
If you're down for that.
Yeah, let's do it.
One is the post that you're working on around some of what you're hearing in conversation. As we mentioned before, you talk to a lot of organizations of all sizes. So it seems to me like
Yeah.
virtual events are here to stay. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I would. I mean, in having spoken with lots of clients, and especially as the year begins to pick back up, lots of them are telling me that they're going to be virtual at least through this year and partially into next. So
Okay.
going virtual has never been more important.
Yeah, and I've talked to a few myself, Will, and it seems that even those that are not going to be fully virtual, into the future, say 3, 4, 5 years from now, they had such success with virtual that they plan to stay at least hybrid or partial virtual or
Yeah.
stream their event in addition to those that can make it in person. So it
Yeah.
seems to me that it's this pandemic, if you would, has really forced us to maybe look at the kinds of events
Hmm.
we're putting on, the types of technologies that we're using, and maybe see
Yeah.
how broad of an audience we can go gather. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we saw the trend before the pandemic, I believe. I just think the pandemic exacerbated the trend. It sped it up,
That makes sense.
exponentially. And then we were all kind of like remote. And how do we figure this out, especially from a nonprofit lens? How do we stay connected with people that have been showing up to every event every year for years and giving via check or doing other things like with volunteers, for example.
Mhm.
So I think a lot of people have, and we've heard this word a lot, pivot. They
Yeah,
pivoted
sure.
in a great manner for the most part. And so, yeah, I 100% think that virtual will be here to stay in some component. I certainly hope live events come back, but the numbers are staggering when you look at the attendance levels of virtual
Mhm.
events versus in person, and also the giving numbers when it comes to if that's kind of the particular thing you're going for. So,
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. And one of the nonprofits that I'm personally involved with, we looked at our cost of putting on our event, and decided that we would actually need to raise less money because we didn't have the overhead of the event itself. And
yeah,
it was almost a blessing in disguise. There was quite a bit of stress and anxiety moving up to that, obviously for our executive director and communications team, because they had to learn a whole new strategy and technology and select new vendors and figure
yeah,
things out. And that's very uncomfortable when that's forced upon you. You like to do those things as part of your strategy and your growth plan. But truth be told, a lot of us in the nonprofit world, at least myself, I love technology, but if it's working, I don't mess with changing it, right? So it takes an outside
Yeah.
pressure sometimes to force this upon us, and so I'm grateful for it. But in retrospect, when the books were balanced, we looked at the numbers and realized, man, I think we actually made more money. We cleared more to the bottom line to sustain our organization. So we're taking
Yeah.
personally a long, hard look at virtual events for the foreseeable future. I mean, why would we go back to um, renting large office spaces if we can work from home? Businesses are asking
Yeah,
that
in
question.
front of luxurious bookcases like yours at your
Exactly.
home office.
That's right. We
Uh,
might as well just stay home and stay comfortable.
well, it's interesting though how many Fortune 500 companies. Obviously, we're in the nonprofit space, and that's our specialty. But just hearing from, for example, my brother works for a Fortune 500 company, and their sales team of over 100 persons are completely staying remote now because their
Yes,
numbers in 2020 skyrocketed. They were up, I believe, 13%, which is a huge, a
that's big.
huge increase.
Sure.
When it comes to a Fortune 500 company and what they're doing volume wise. So I think, just saving the overhead alone and being able to sit in comfy chairs with, my nice mantle beside me. I mean, come on, you can't beat that.
You can't beat it. And you're a family man. You've got little kids, right? And I've got my own children, and so having lunch with them during the day, being able to pull back, work more. There is the challenge of and maybe it's a topic for another day, but challenge of keeping work-life balance. But I
Yeah.
think what's been interesting about this process for me and my experience working with so many organizations and the conversations we're having is that an external event like the pandemic has really forced upon us this whole idea of virtual events. But in
Mm-hmm.
retrospect, as I said, it's been good. So that's a topic we're working on: virtual events and what we're learning
Yeah.
and hearing. Another topic that we're really working through as a company here at RallyCore is to really think through relationship in the context of texting. There's so many different texting tools, and Will, if you remember our story as to why we started RallyCore, it really appalled me in my work with the organizations that I was serving on how impersonal and really set up for mass texting and text
Mm-hmm.
messaging systems were. There was really no idea or concept of scanning the messages to see if how the sentiment read, positive or
Yeah.
negative, or and that's not a huge problem if you're sending 10 or 15 or 20 text messages, but in some of our cases we were sending hundreds of thousands of messages, and we really need to look at ways to improve management leadership's view into those messages, and so make that make more sense. But really, to educate people as well as to how to use texting. So the second topic I'm really excited about is really driving relationship and conversation through text messaging, something that even just saying that a lot of people don't understand that or don't think of
Mm-hmm.
texting as a relationship. But can you think of a more intimate means of communications than text messaging?
No, not right offhand. I like, when I'm talking to clients, I kind of like to remind them of their habits and how they're probably text more. And if they are getting a phone call during the day from a friend or relative, their first thought is, "Oh no, what's wrong?" Because
Yeah,
they're
true.
so used to just communicating by text. And so, obviously we know the read rates, the open rates. I mean, and they're all over Google, but there's not a faster, more effective way
Yeah.
to engage. Social media is great, email's great, website's great. I'm not going to detract away from those methods,
Mhm.
but when the read rates are almost double that of social media versus triple that of emails, it just makes sense in
Yeah.
today's world, especially being as mobile as we are now.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Will. I think that the statistics and the numbers are really, unquestionably, you know, we're clearly texting is the right thing to do. What became
Yeah.
clear as you and I talked, and as we began to tackle this with Rallycore and even building our application and the software that we use, but it really comes down to also thinking through the implementation, because at Rally we believe that software is just one piece of the equation, if you would. There's software plus implementation that equals success, right?
Yeah.
So we might talk, well, how do we communicate with donors? Well, we do that through email, we do that through text messaging, we do that through pen and paper. There's many different ways in which we can. The why we communicate with donors, clearly we want to thank them, we want to engage them, we want to increase giving, we want to try to over time improve their understanding of our mission and to come into full alignment with that. In fact, we just worked on that blog post together that really talks to the donor journey of aligning head, heart, and hands, and some of the importance of really connecting with the person, not just the wallet, right? So I think that we've often had a sense of the how we were going to do it potentially, or maybe even the what around the technology. But what I'm most excited about is really the why. Like, why texting? Why would I do it? Why wouldn't I do it? When would I do it? So I think that really having a balanced perspective on texting or any technology, forget about texting, any technology. We forget that pen and paper at one point was technology, right? So
exactly. I thought you were going to mention courier pigeon next.
Yeah, courier pigeons. It's highly effective with the right pigeons. Right. With my nonprofits, we use eagles because they're a lot more. Yeah.
Well, and American. So there you go.
American. That's right. So yeah, but I think the second series that we're working on that I'm really excited about is just the connecting the head, heart, and hands, and what does that mean, and how do we build out our donor journey and move people from just basic awareness to full-on ambassador. Using different mediums, of which texting is one of them. It's a tool in the tool chest. But as we embark on this journey and these technologies and select these things, I do think we have to take a long, hard look at our use of technology and the where, the what, the how, but most importantly, the why. So not to get too philosophical, Will, I have a tendency to do that, but
especially on a Friday. Philosophical Friday. That should be a hashtag.
Friday. That's right.
That we'll use in the group.
I think that works.
Or on the podcast. That would be cool.
That's awesome. Well, let's talk for a minute about TextGen. So tell me about TextGen. What is TextGen? And what does it mean to you, birthday boy?
Yes, thank you. Well, I like the group because obviously, I'm an English major. I have to use my degree for something, even though I work in the SaaS world and specifically in texting and whatnot. But basically, it's a play on words with the next generation being the text generation. And so we call it hashtag TextGen. And it's basically just a place on LinkedIn and Facebook for nonprofit leaders and, movers to engage regarding mobilizing their mission. That's our mantra. And it's so easy to recite because it's to the forefront of what we do at Rally. But beyond that, it's not even really about Rally. I mean, I'll tell people, we'd love it if you use us as your texting tool for communication, but ultimately it's got to be the best fit. So if it's not Rally, use something, because texting is not only the future, it's the present. And so, with TextGen, we're able to kind of share ideas, get together. And of course, the group's in its infancy, so we're just starting. But obviously when we have more content like this, and we're doing some different webinars and podcasts and resources that we're planning to launch via this channel, we really do think it'll be a success throughout 2021 and beyond.
Yeah, no, I love it. That's a good word, and I think I've heard you say before that you really hope it's more of a value and a resource, right, for people.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that we're doing to that end?
I just think best practices. That's something that we're focusing on. Again, This is not a channel that's shouting everything about our company, the one we happen to be with, and but it's best practices in many areas. We talked about virtual events earlier. We're not necessarily an events organization at Rally. However, we do have some intel in the space, having dealt with numerous of our clients, regardless of size, of them having to change to virtual events. Therefore, we've kind of the osmosis, if you will. Shout out to my science teachers back in the day. That occurs with us kind of starting as a texting platform and then shifting to more of a communications forum. So I definitely say that's one of the features or benefits that I like.
Yeah, and that's one of the values, I think, and what I love about focusing. And there's so many different texting solutions out there, but few of them focus. In fact, not that any that I know of really, that focus just on nonprofits, unless they also bring some kind of donation system to the to the back end. Like we work with some of the largest nonprofits, in part because they want to be able to swap in and out, the technology behind the scenes. So that was what makes Rally unique. But where we can give back to the group is we have experience and exposure to a lot of campaigns and a lot of focus on that. So we can look at the numbers of what's working and what's not. And of course, we live and breathe this stuff. So, but we've said it before, and and I've heard you say it as well, Will, that we're going to reach a lot more people through what we give away and the value and the resources that we create through this group or through, our efforts than we'll ever impact through our product. And that's good by us. We like that because I think that the rising knowledge that's out there for everybody as organizations learn and adopt new technology, that somehow, some way gets back to us. And then we get to really look at how what's working, what's not, and for the sake of our clients and our team, really just improve all the way around. So at the end of the day, it's about helping nonprofits drive sustainable mission and mobilize people. Whether they do that with Rally or any platform, it's okay by us. Would you agree?
Well, hopefully it's us. I mean, that's where I would, but if not, honestly, we agree. We just want to see more of that mission getting out there. And of course, the more it's out there, the better it's going to lead.
I agree. Well, I love it, my friend. Anything else that you want to kind of throw at us at this time? I know, as I said, the text gen in the future will be you, me, and a group of people, and maybe someone will be interviewing. We're gonna kind of figure out what works. We love experimentation and new things and seeing, what's valuable, what feedback we're getting. But what beyond?
Well, I'm looking.
Go ahead.
I'm looking forward to learning as well. Sorry, James. I'm looking forward to learning from others in the group because I think even though we have between us and our co-founder as well, we have 27 years experience in the nonprofit realm. That's not, there's still a lot of others out there that we can learn from in the group as well.
Definitely.
I think that's one thing I'm excited about as well.
And I don't know about you, Will, but I had a coach once tell me that he loves to coach and teach because he loves to learn, right? And at some point, your stage of learning is really, particularly in the classical sense, really does move into more of an educating and mastering of a topic through sharing it with others. So, but totally agree. And I think that's really exciting to know that we can learn from others and share what's working. And really, I hope to create an environment where people can connect with one another, right? So if members of the group reach out to one another and build lasting relationships, then that's a win-win for all of us. So we're all moving the ball down the field, so to speak, when it comes to alleviating suffering, ending human trafficking, the different causes that we get to be so blessed to be part of. So as we work together to do that and to improve the world, then it's really neat to, as technologists and idea guys, to bring our own skill set to bear, if you would. So I love it. Any closing thoughts? That's it.
No, I'm gonna go enjoy my birthday if that's all right with you, boss man.
Well, tomorrow's Saturday, so take at least half the day off.
Okay, there you go. You're like, you can cut out 10 minutes early.
How it is.
No, I'm kidding. No, it's all good stuff. I'm excited and blessed to obviously be here another year and help nonprofits accomplish their goals. So,
All right. Well, we'll all see you in the group at TextGen, and thanks for your time today.
all
See you
right.
next Friday.
Thanks, James. See you later.
Bye.